Hello everyone, Fair Explorer here. I'm so excited to share my experiences, my journeys, my trips, my tricks, and my tips. And in today's video, I'm answering a question that I've been asked on whether one can apply for a US visa from another country other than their own with East African countries in mind. Is it possible? Is it worth? What circumstances can lead one to apply for a US visa in another country that is not their own? There are several circumstances that can lead someone to apply for a US visa in a country that is not their own. 1. Residence in another country. If a person is legally residing in a country other than their own, for example, as a student, a worker, or dependent, they may apply for a US visa from that country. Number 2, travel convenience. Sometimes it is more convenient for individuals to apply for a US visa from a neighboring or nearby country due to travel logistics or visa processing times. Number 3, visa availability. Certain types of US visas may have different availability in different countries. If the visa queue is shorter or processing times are faster in another country, individuals may choose to apply from there. Number 4, legal requirements. There may be legal or procedural reasons why an individual is required to apply from a specific country. This could be due to international agreements, bilateral agreements between countries, or specific rules set by US visa authorities. Number 5, safety concerns. In some cases, individuals may feel safer or more secure applying for a visa from a country other than their own due to political, social, or personal safety concerns. Number 6, dual nationality. Individuals who hold dual nationality may have the option to choose which passport to use for visa applications. They might opt to apply from the country that offers better logistical support or faster processing times. Number 7, travel plans. If somebody is already planning to travel to another country for other reasons, such as tourism or business, they may choose to combine their trip with a visa application to the US to minimize travel costs and time. It's important to note that the decision to apply for a US visa in a country that is not one's own is often based on individual circumstances and considerations. Each US embassy or consulate has its own specific procedures and policies regarding visa applications. So it's advisable to check with the embassy or consulate where the applications will be made for their specific requirements. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my videos and more people will get a chance to view it and learn from it. So let's come close to home. Which are the 5 African countries with higher US visa approval rates? Arranging African countries based on higher US visa approval rates can vary over time and may depend on multiple factors such as diplomatic relations, economic stability, and immigration policies. Here is a general ranking based on historical trends and relative success rates. The first one in the list is South Africa. Known for its relatively higher US visa approval rates, especially for tourism, business, and education purposes. Number 2, Kenya. Kenya generally has a good track record of US visa approvals, particularly for tourism, business, and education. Number 3 follows Nigeria. Despite stricter visa policies in recent years, Nigeria still sees a significant number of successful US visa approvals, especially for business and official purposes. Number 4, Ghana. Often cited for decent US visa approval rates, particularly for tourism, business, and educational purposes. Number 5, Morocco. Known to have reasonable US visa approval rates, especially for tourism and business travelers. Please note that these rankings are based on general trends and historical data. Actual approval rates can fluctuate and depend on various factors, including individual applicant circumstances and changes in US immigration policies. It's advisable for applicants to check with the relevant US embassy or consulate for the latest information and requirements before applying for a US visa. Now let's go on the reverse. Arrange in order 5 African countries with lowest US visa approval. So these are based on the rankings based on historical trends and that they are relatively lower, have lower success rates. And these countries start with 1, Somalia. Due to security concerns and instability, Somalia often has lower US visa approval rates. It's followed by Eritrea. Historically, Eritrea has had lower US visa approval rates, possibly influenced by political tensions and restrictive immigration policies. Number 3, Sudan. Sudan has faced challenges with US visa approval rates, influenced by political factors and changes in immigration policies. Number 4, Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. The DRC has historically seen lower US visa approval rates, possibly due to political instability and economic challenges. Libya. Libya may have lower US visa approval rates due to security issues and political instability. So, please note that these rankings are based on general trends and historical data. Actual visa approval rates can vary over time and individual circumstances because they are not the same. It's important for applicants to check the latest requirements and procedures from the official US embassy or consulate website before planning to travel or visa applications. For more information or clarification on the subject, please write to us at fairexploreradvisors@gmail.com and we'll be glad to help you. So between Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, the East African countries, how are they in their US visa approval rating and the reasons? So based on, again, historical trends and factors influencing US visa application approval rates, here is a general ranking for Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania from potentially highest to lowest US visa approval rates. So the first one is Kenya. Typically has higher US visa approval rates compared to Uganda and Tanzania. Reasons include strong diplomatic relations with the US, 2, economic stability and a relatively developed infrastructure, and C, significant travel for tourism, business, and educational purposes, contributing to familiarity with visa processes. So Kenya is followed by Tanzania. Generally has moderate US visa approval rates. Reasons include it has good diplomatic relations with the US but not as robust as Kenyans. Number 2, economic stability and growing tourism sector contribute positively. And 3, Tanzania has a history of more stable political conditions compared to Uganda. So our number 3 here is Uganda. Historically, Uganda has had lower US visa approval rates compared to Kenya and Tanzania. Reasons being A, some political instability and security concerns in certain regions. B, variable economic conditions that can impact visa approval rates. And C, issues related to documentation and eligibility for some applicants. It's important to note that visa approval rates can fluctuate over time due to various factors, including changes in the US immigration policies and individual applicant profiles. Applicants should always check the latest requirements and procedures from the official US embassy or consulate website before applying for a US visa. So in conclusion, the country in East Africa with highest US visa approval rate being Kenya, we again go through the several factors that make it so. And the first one we said was strong ties. Kenya has historically maintained strong diplomatic ties with the United States. 2, economic stability. Kenya is one of the most economically stable countries in East Africa, which can positively influence visa approval rates. 3, tourism and business. Many Kenyans travel to the US for tourism, business, and education purposes, contributing to a relatively high number of success visa applications. Number 4, visa processing. The US Embassy in Nairobi has a well-established visa processing system, which can contribute to smoother and more efficient processing of visa applications. Number 5, education and exchange programs. Kenya has a significant number of students and professionals participating in educational and exchange programs with US institutions, which often lead to higher visa approval rates. It's important to note that visa approval rates can vary over time in individual circumstances. Applicants from any country with lower approval rates should thoroughly review the requirements and prepare their applications carefully, ensuring they meet all necessary criteria and provide clear documentation to support their application. When stating your reasons, on why you are applying from another country other than your own, please be honest and provide extremely convincing necessary supporting documentation to strengthen your case. You cannot just say, like for example, that I am applying from this other country because the process looks like it's faster, without really a very convincing reason. Like we stated above, you need to have traveled in that country for another reason other than directly going there to apply. So you need to be clever, you need to apply your wits so that it can make it look real and reasonably convincing. And then definitely with that, you have to also have the supporting documentation. Assuming like you say you had gone there to see somebody who was in hospital. So you have to attach the documentation from the hospital showing that somebody who was a relative, with still more supporting documents showing that you are related to that person. And that is why, as you had gone there maybe to look after them for a month or 2, you also felt, now that you are already in that country, you could as well apply for your visa. Or maybe you had gone on tourism into that country. So like a 2-week tourism stint. So you can as well, as you are there, you hit 2 birds with 1 stone. Go on your site and whatever it is you're going to see there, and at the same time apply for your visa. So that could be convincing too. So it's important to demonstrate that your reasons are genuine and that you have a legitimate basis for applying from the country in question. So thank you for listening to my video. God bless you. I love you.